Hello everyone, this is DrEvilGenius, back again for another narration from Epoch of Disharmony. This time I've decided to read the first post of Rykos Bumba, the Gerudo Gangster. This post is one of the very last in An Expected Alliance, which wraps up many characters' involvement in the Battle of Disharmony on Day 4. Without further ado, let's dive right in. At the top of a barren hill in the southern plains of Hyrule Field, under the shade of a leafless tree, a lone fat warrior sat astride a hulking boar, his hefty shadow stretching wide in the low-hanging sun. The boar rooted ravenously through a pile of dead soldiers, the same ranks felled on the outskirts of the warring sorcerer's blasts. Her long tusks and grinding teeth made short work of their armor, chewing through the brittle plates to the swollen bodies beneath. The sounds of squishing organs and crunching bones rumbled up from her gnashing snout. He reached into one of the Bulbo's saddlebags and pulled out a long, fat cigar, then chewed off its end and spit it out onto a guard's skull. He set the stogie between thick lips and snapped his finger at the tip, sending a jet of flame roaring up from his thumb to light it. He puffed on the flame until the cigar was lit, then flicked his wrist to extinguish it. As much as he savored the scent of slaughter, the tobacco was sweeter in his nostrils. He swished the cigar around to the corner of his mouth, then brought a spyglass to his eye while his bulbous mount dined. From his vantage point, all was quiet but the whistling wind, and through his spyglass he saw a daring retreat unfold. "And just where do you think you're going?" he said aloud, mostly to himself. Far off in the distance, the vermilion vixen leapt over the rushing river on her blue roan, but not before a single flaming arrow sailed across the banks and slashed along her thigh, stabbing into the blue roan's hide just as she crested the jump. Before he could see whether she made it across, a whirling wall of blood and sand flew up from the riverbanks. The summoned elements disappeared almost as soon as they came, and when they cleared, only the Hylians remained. "These blood mages are all bark and no bite," he said, laughing with a snort. "The red-iced general, and that girl." The rider licked his lips and made an obscene gesture between his thighs with his free hand. "What did Namara say the redhead was called?" he said, clicking his boot heels on the Bulbo's side. The boar looked up from her meal and blinked, her maw drizzling with entrails. "Blood, breath," she grunted, then plunged back into the dead. "That was it," he said, whistling as he looked over the plains. "Guess she's got a reputation to uphold." He lowered his spyglass and took a whiff of the Crimson Duo's killing fields. Hylian corpses stretched as far as his eyes could see, until they merged with piles of Zora at the edge of the distant ranch. Puffing a wreath of smoke around his head, the light of his cigar cast a red glow on the undersides of his features in the gloom. "Well, Hathor, old girl," he said. "Time to see if these bloody dastards are ready for Bumba!" He jostled the leather reins and kicked their sides, and the pair set off in the direction of Zora's domain. So, that was Bumba! I hope you're all ready for him. I know I am. Looking forward to see more of the man in Season 2. Until next time, I'm DrEvilGenius, and try not to completely forget about your mom.